I served on the space station of Mimas as a liaison for the Earth Embassy, working with many alien races.
Jean-Charles Moyen, Franco-American SSP, aboard the Solaris spaceship, a part of the Solar Warden. My mission, protection and rescue slaves on other planets.
Rebecca Rose, Psychic Super Soldier, Moon, Mars, Kuiper Belt, and beyond.
Namaste. I'm Yana Prakash. I am a multidimensional healer, work directly with the Andromeda Council, and infinite creation through the oneness with all that it is.
We know if you won't tell them the truth, we will. I'm James Rink, founder of the Super Soldier Talk podcast, Healing Soul Survivors 501c3, and now the Super Soldier Activation Conference. I have dedicated myself to documenting the untold stories of the secret space program. I have brought awareness of milabs, also known as military abductions, MK Ultra, Monarch, and Montauk programming. Join us for the 2025 Super Soldier Activation Conference in Orlando, Florida, from October 8th to the 12th. Experience 4 days of groundbreaking discussions with over 25 courageous secret space program speakers. Secure your spot now at supersoldiercon.com. Par ardua ad astra. Hello everybody, good day wherever you are. Welcome to Super Soldier Talk. I have another guest with us here today, Ian Glover, even Ian Glover. So, with a classified mysterious past, Ian C. Glover joined Super Soldier Talk to speak about the immediate future and current events of counter-terrorism initiatives to combat the deep state and its ever-changing battleground. He is the CEO of Gloverzone and founder of the upcoming Bureau of Corrections. He speaks on his upcoming projects influenced by his understandings from his classified past with a strategy about moving forward to a future of justice, consciousness, and definite change. Ian, welcome to the show. Why don't you unmute yourself there?
Okay, James. Ura, Semper Fi, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. I just want to say thank you for everybody out there who's bought tickets to Super Soldier Activation Conference coming up this October 8th. We still have some more vendor spots if you want to vend. You can also come out. We have group passes. We also have VIP passes. So everybody just be aware that this event is grassroots based. And that means we need you to buy tickets because I cannot possibly expect me to pay for all this too. So I need you, all of us, to come together, go to supersoldiercon.com, purchase a ticket, and let the universe know that you support super soldiers and super soldier disclosure, secret space program disclosure, because this all begins with you. Because certainly, Ian, you and I, we could be sitting here talking to each other for the rest of the universe. If the community doesn't participate, then we're really not making much of an impact. So,
well, this whole thing is about community. The reality is, I'll just put it bluntly, James. Aliens exist. Evil exists.
And super soldiers are real. I have a song.
Super soldiers are the defense against everything that we know to come to fear. And the reality is there are things to fear. And the other reality is that nobody wants to talk about them except those who are brave enough to speak at your conference, which I will, if no one stops me, I should be unstoppable at attending this incredible conference that James is putting on. He is honestly one of the most men of integrity I have ever encountered. And this entire disclosure movement has to be one of the top priorities of our country for national security and also for the sake of humanity.
Right. And I'm a little biased about this, but, I've been to other conferences in this field. And, what I've taken out from that is that the super soldiers are an amazing group of loyal people who really care about changing the consciousness of this planet. Whereas compared to some of these other groups, I don't know if you know about like the new age nonsense type of folks who believe that, we shouldn't be investigating anything dark. It's making us dark. We can't talk about super soldiers. Yes, Ian?
the greatest insult that the devil ever played upon the American public and the world public, frankly, is convincing that we don't need to focus on darkness because there is a luminance that is called light. And the reality is, even if it is so good to focus on the light, one cannot acknowledge the power of the light without acknowledging the threats we're up against. Never has there been a time in history more relevant than now, where disclosure, where protection, and where operations need to be conducting immediately. We need to be conducting actual ground operations to make sure that we are safe. And that means clandestine, that means psyops, that means reactivating those who want to serve our country. Because right now, I hate to say it, and I'll be the first to say that honestly, if anything happens after this interview, I'm taking my own risk doing this interview. I've been suppressed for 11 years. And now, after 11 years in hell, I've escaped actually, with only one goal: to save my country. But to do that, we need to work together, us as a community, everybody walking this land. It's not just me. I've been carrying the burden for far too long just on myself. And yes, if the elites don't stop me, I will be attending this conference. Will I be speaking? I would love to. So call it a tentative yes. I've never been to Florida. I would love to go to Florida. I've been very fortunate where I've been slightly anonymous for a long time, but I can no longer be silent. Silence is not an option. You either defend the country and protect it with your life, or you just simply submit to those who want to enslave your mind. And that may sound like hyperbole, that may sound like it's extraordinary, terrible things to say, but it unfortunately matters. Mind control is real. And if you're not careful, mind control will convert you from being a non-believer to being a believer that mind control exists because your mind is enslaved. And that's not just by aliens, that's by humans and science.
Yeah. Great, thank you. Now, M13, I just dropped the price of the live stream ticket, so you don't have to attend in person now. You can get a live stream ticket, but thank you all.
I'd much rather attend in person myself. But I see that. And yes, dude, honestly, M13, I feel you. And my prayers go out to everyone who right now is currently struggling. I'm struggling myself. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I'm not going to disclose right here, like what's going on, but I'm just going to tell you right now that, I believe that as soon as we work together, we're going to stop being broke. I believe that this year is the year of possibility where we can change from being completely penniless to having an actual ability to have money and retain it. Because it's not just about gaining money, it's about gaining, retaining, being able to invest in what you need, and being able to survive honestly, which means your income has to be consistent and it has to flow in without it being, so strenuous, which means you have to put your focus on a lot of different areas. And one of the things that me and my business do is we actually help people online. We help build their businesses. We help get them social media. We help build content creation. And there's a reason why I'm stepping from the shadows into the light with James Rink, because frankly, he's the trusted source. We all love Miles Johnston. I like Miles Johnson. He's great. But James here, he's got some really, really powerful people that he's interviewed. And I swear to God, there's more to come. And I'm so proud and honored. Dude, we've known each other for like 12 years now, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember back in the day when you were channeling James Casbolt.
That's right. If I say this and James doesn't remember, I'm so sorry. But the truth is, yes, we're brothers. He doesn't realize it, probably because it's been too damn long. But yes, James Casbolt, through one of these specific MyLab experiments, is my brother. I cannot go into some of my classified history at this time, as my handler will not exactly allow me to disclose, for honestly safety reasons, as I'm in the middle of an ongoing situation, which is classified and dangerous. And again, I did take risk taking this interview, but I did this willingly because I believe that it is more important to speak the truth than it is to be ashamed and lie and suppress yourself because you just don't feel the strength to tell the truth. But the reality is, there is so much going on right now. This interview had to happen. If not me, then who? If not James, then who?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, M13. I was just going to comment. So the venue is at the Wyndham Avante Resort. So that's on International Drive. It's a half mile of where GSIC was at. Now, we could have gone. I could have taken you guys over there, but I don't know. I think that'd be like pissing in Danny Henderson's face. So we're all trying to bring people together here. Unlike some others in the community, I have a lot to say about that. But thank you, Ian. I remember way back in the day, we had something called the Super Soldier Summit.
Yes, exactly. For people like me, channelers. I'm a channeler. I've channeled over 260 spirits in over 8 years.
Okay, well,
fully embodied.
Back then, we had Max Spears, James Casbelt, Douglas Dietrich. Is he even still on the disclosure community? I haven't.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
hopefully.
I haven't heard from him in a while. So yeah.
What about Robert Duncan O'Finian?
Well, Duncan O never wanted to be on stage anywhere near me. He got very triggered, and there was one day when he said, "That James Rink, I can't stand him." And then the next morning, he was underneath the car, and I don't know, he had like an arrow or something. He said he murdered a friend or something. Jesus. When he was a child. He got very triggered. So, and then somebody called me up and said that he worked at his studio, and he said that he got in a fight with Duncan. And what happened is Duncan fired him that morning, and then he stuck around all day waiting in the parking lot for him to come out at the end of the day. And then he came out at Duncan and started yelling and screaming at him. I was like, "Why did you fire me?" This, that, right? And then Duncan went to clock him, and then he grabbed a gun right underneath his driver's seat and shot right into his foot. So he got arrested, and his attorney also talked to me about what to do.
My God, what year was this?
Gosh, it was probably like 7 years ago. And at that point, I just realized that Duncan O, he just needed some time to heal himself because, he was Gen 1. I don't even know if you would call that Gen 1. It's like Gen 0.
I know. Exactly. He's like primary source code material. I mean, I found Duncan because I was introduced to his story by the incomparably powerful Jesse Ventura when he did his show Conspiracy Theory, which was canceled after 3 seasons, which the final episode apparently didn't even air, which was like about the TSA, because like they straight up stopped the episode itself. I mean, you got to have a pretty powerful platform if you're having to be stopped by Homeland Security from airing something that apparently, according to some of these people, are arguably tinfoil hat people, So honestly, guys, let me put it this way. If they weren't so real, if they were such quacks, if we could truly discredit QAnon to the extent that the media and the fourth branch of the government has managed to, divide all of us by, then surely you wouldn't need to not air Jesse Ventura's episode on television and cancel his show. I mean, come on. Common sense. If you need to have that much power up against simple truth, something that is uncomfortable for other people, then you're a coward. And if you're a coward, it's because you're threatened because of truth. And the reality is truth. It's what you feel when you get the goosebumps at the back of your neck. It's what happens when your hairs stand up. The reality is, how many times do you go to a movie theater watching Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning in IMAX and getting goosebumps and getting your whole head chills. Well, every time that happens, that's because you're tapping into something deeper. The reality is these filmmakers in Hollywood, they're really intelligent. And the reality is, I don't want anyone to misunderstand where some of these people like Tom Cruise are coming from. They're coming from really intelligent places. Look, you could have chosen any single storyline to end a Mission Impossible franchise. You choose a two-parter about artificial intelligence. Yo, you're intelligent. You're saying no to AI. How many people are taking their stand against AI? I have friends who tell me I'm going to lose my editing jobs if I don't convert to artificial intelligence and let them do the work. Well, I'm sorry. Am I a slave or am I somebody who is empowered in my career? I would much rather be someone who makes my own decisions, labor, because hard work is how America was founded. America was built by hard work. You cannot, as a patriot, lose yourself because people are buckling. That's what a super soldier is, my friend. And James, you know this better than anyone. Super soldiers, while every other soldier fall because of their chain of command, because of all of this, super soldiers are here to be able to carry out the final commands that were given in the foundational books that we were trained on. We are a community that is bigger and stronger together because all of us being divided, all of us being financially crippled by the same institutions, by the same banking restrictions, by the same idiots, they're all there because the reality is the super soldier community is strong. We are the last line of defense. We're the first ones in and the last ones out. It's funny because the Marine Corps are the elites, and the reality is the super soldiers are the Marines of the world. But that's the specific phrase. They're the Marines of the world. They don't a super soldier does not belong to a flag. It does not belong to a specific chain of command. A super soldier is elite. They can choose to go on missions, they can choose not to, but the missions that they do choose to accept are the most dangerous, high-risk missions in operational security that one can possibly comprehend.
Wow, thank you. Okay, so let's go back to how about we start with some of the messages that you were getting from James Casbolt?
Oh, great. Yes. I've been out of the loop. Please tell the community and tell me what my dear favorite person has to say. Because I do remember he did this one very specific command. He said this: Gear, 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 it's Commander. The Wolf and Night, the Black Hawk, enemy bolts and the Tiger walks. Whoever takes sides in the lines are drawn, coming soon. That was him all the way back then. And so I'd love to hear where he's at now.
Well, he is out of prison and he's trying to make a life for himself. He's posting poems.
Well, if he wants to contact me, he very well may. I'd love to work with him. And this is, look, it's imperative that we're aligned at this point. Just everyone right now who wants to disclose anything worth talking about should be encouraged to step forward. We live in a time where right now we have a president in office who is offering nothing but expansion of disclosure. Look at what he did with the JFK files. Look what he did with the RFK files. I think he even released some about MLK. So if I'm understanding this correctly, he's using 3-letter initial individuals who have all had mysterious circumstance deaths. And he's having tens of thousands of pages being disclosed by Tulsi Gabbard, who is fantastic at her job. And I'm very proud that she's Director of National Intelligence. I think that, honestly, the Trump administration right now has not been trusted for a very long time. But there was also that very same, here's the thing. I don't want to go into politics, James. But at the same time, can't we talk about the country without being political? Can't we talk about an individual and talk about misperception and talk about, Look, honestly, yes, the things that are happening with ICE, the things that are happening with the deportations, there's terrible things that are happening. Are there necessary operations going on at the same time? Abso-fucking-lutely. Sorry for cursing, but I have to get passionate here. The reality is we can have an entire society conflicted now by the dramatics in which we see, or we can understand what crisis actors are. And I'm not talking about the people who are victimized. I do not want my words misinterpreted. When I'm talking about crisis actors, I'm talking about the individuals who are causing the crimes, the people who are being responded about. I'm talking about the people who are masked. I'm talking about the people who are committing the reasons why everyone is angry. Yo, think about it. Donald Trump gives one objective. He says, get rid of the people who are tearing this country apart. Listen, I survived Joe Biden. I know. I was in Oakland. I was in Silicon Valley. I remember. And were the worst 4 years of my life. Worst 4 years. Horrible. Let's go Brandon all the way. And honestly, I hate to say it, but we totally are in a much better place right now mentally. Not psychological operation and how we respond to it, but mentally, I think we're all empowered to see social justice and change on a permanent level. And here's the thing. There was always going to be an attack on Trump. There was always going to be a problem. But then again, the Democrats were always saying that certain bad things were going to happen that have come to pass. Now, here's the thing. I understand how things are orchestrated. I have been part of being witness to the things that are actually done, how things are conducted. And I'm just going to tell you, James, just to be very, very clear, it doesn't take much to confuse an entire population who's doing what. If you give a chain of command, hey, go to this area and detain said individual. Well, it's very easy when you have a group of people that you're doing operations on and you don't even know most of their names. It's very easy to infiltrate one of those groups and control those actions from the ground down to create chaos. What I'm trying to say here is that maybe, just maybe, hey, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm just seeing it in one certain way. But, forgive me, Father, for I will tell a contradictory truth to what you have been seeing. Maybe we have been infiltrated. Maybe somebody does not want Donald Trump to succeed in the White House and wants to sabotage his first 6 months and make sure. Because the reality is we're hearing statements. Those statements are not adding up with the facts that we're retaliating against. What we're retaliating against is something dramatic. So honestly, who wants drama for this country? If you listen to Donald Trump's speeches, what is he talking about? Americans, patriotism. He's talking about freedom of speech. Now, is he going after every single conceivable, speech from the far left and from the left in general? Absolutely, for the punishment of the persecution they gave him. They gave him accusations that he faked his own shooting. They've given him accusations of being Hitler. But I'll tell you, Hitler never did the things that he did without being completely evil, And the reality is, you can say what you want about Donald Trump. I'm sure that he doesn't care about what you think or what I think. The point is, whoever is sabotaging this country knows exactly what the hell he's doing. And yes, I can guarantee you, there's a lot of people who right now have been waiting for this position for the longest time, and the deep state is absolutely active in a way that I've never seen before. Where the fuck is Anonymous? Where are the people who used to be like the main people that we would, rely on for, hacktivism and social justice and all of that? You don't see them anymore. I mean, you see, little tiny little things if you're like in the community. But what happened to QAnon? Oh, yeah, that's right. They got dismantled? The reality is, I'm sorry, but, V said it best in V for Vendetta. You cannot kill an idea. Yeah, you can wound somebody. You can make somebody absolutely disincentivized to speak the truth. But at the end of the day, you are who you are. And at the end of the day, if we don't do this, if we don't do things like we're trying to do right now, there'll be nothing left to save. James Bond didn't just say that quote because it was literally a moment in a movie. In No Time to Die, people. There's a reason why Hollywood has such a strong hold over our brains. And ever since, by the way, ever since superheroes lost sway over our brains, look what happened. Honestly, when was the last time you enjoyed anything, bro? You stopped superheroes. You stopped believing in billionaires. All of you people decided, okay, fuck the billionaire class. Fuck all these people. You know what's so funny about that? The funny thing is, if you were actually thinking, we could have the opportunity to make friends with the billionaire class and make them bankroll the American public because it's in their best interest. Instead of shaming them, try making them realize reasons why we can trust them. Look what happens when you end up actually working with the billionaire class in trust. You know what you get? I'll tell you what you get because we have several hundred examples. You get Tony Stark, you get Bruce Wayne, Batman, and Iron Man, Marvel, DC. Okay? If the comic people can get the fact that billionaires want to save the world, well, gee, why don't we make a future where that's the case instead of the narrative where the billionaire class is going to kill everybody and that they don't care and that they're spineless elites and that all they want is the death and destruction of everybody. Yo, James, imagine if James Rink was a billionaire, guys. Imagine he's worked his entire life doing podcasts and he finally got it, right? He finally made his first $2 billion. And then somebody comes up to him and is like, fuck you, man. You're a horrible person. You're a billionaire. You need to pay your taxes. Well, whoa, how did I ever do to you? Right? Well, listen, James Casbolt was trying to bring people to understand a very basic fundamental concept that people in the billionaire world, in the elite world, and the community need to be bridged together, not fucking divided. And the problem is, every single thing that we've been seeing in this country is division. And I'm telling you, if you want to say that a man you've never met before and a man you never will meet, Donald J. Trump, is your big problem with America, then you're not seeing the problem. You are reacting. You're saying the administration is causing it. Really? Okay, the administration. What the fuck does that mean, the administration? What we know is the actions that we are seeing. We can accuse the administration of being the problem, but at the end of the day, don't you see incompetence? Don't you see idiocy? Don't you see any of the things that you call out on Jimmy Kimmel and Stephen Colbert? How are those people responsible for tearing women and children from themselves? Like, really, think about it. Those are called sick people. Those are called terrorists. And the reality is, yes, some of them have infiltrated the administration. Some of them have infiltrated every administration. That is why you have never in 25 years, in 30 years, in 60 years, you haven't had a good fucking life, man. You know what I mean? And I'm sorry for cursing so much, but the reality is at this point, what am I going to do? Shy away from the fact that at the end of the day, we all should be living free lives. We should all be really okay. But instead, we're at the brink of war. We are at war, in fact. We're just at the brink of ourselves at war.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you for sharing that. Let's go back to some of
that just came out of nowhere, by the way. I have to be honest. That came from my soul, brother. You know what I mean? Semper Fi all the way to this entire podcast. I love you, man.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit more about some of these counter-terrorism initiatives that you're aiming against the deep state? Okay, go ahead.
So, it's taking a second. Well, what I can tell you is that the first war on the public really, really started with 9/11. In fact, when was the last time you talked about 9/11? When was the last time any of us mentioned the reason why we joined services, why we joined the Marine Corps, why we joined the Army? You know, shout out to all of the military veterans out there who are suffering. Brother, you are not alone. I see you, I hear you, I feel you, and I fight for you, Semper Fi. I do not care for what these people have done to you. The VA office sucks. Isolate, medicate. Isolate, medicate. Okay, well, where's the therapy? Where's the actual healing? There is no healing because people have lost their faith. I became a man of Roman Catholic faith. My hand on the Bible, man. My hand on the Bible right here, you know. I put it on the Bible, and I say, honestly, that everything I say in this interview is the truth and nothing but the truth. So help me God, because there's nothing that I can possibly fabricate in order to speak my soul. The reality is, you've never seen what my eyes have seen. You've never spoken the things that I've said. And the reality is, at the end of the day, James, you're a very gifted individual. You're one of the reasons why America can be safe. Because the reality is, the people who do wrong, whether they be elite, whether they be in the streets, whether they be in your family, whoever they are, when you do wrong, you must call them out. The evil elites need to be stomped the fuck out. However, it's got to be done right, and it's got to be done first by a larger awakening, and it's got to be done by tactical, actual reality, which means you can't just go out there with a gun and go shoot somebody. You need to think about things. You need to use your mind. They've used their minds to fuck you up. You should use your mind to free your own and to free their mind from the enslavement that they've enslaved themselves into enslaving others, because that's where the aliens come in. The aliens come in by the higher dimensions. You know, look at the Aleister Crowleys of the world. Look at the people who actually like studied black magic, occult arts. I mean, these people are tapping into very dark magic. And the reality is people don't understand. Right now, if I was to go around the country as an exorcist, I would probably find at least 50,000 exorcisms to do within 7 days. And those numbers are just absolutely insane. Like, of course not. I wouldn't want to even talk about thinking that I could do 50,000 exorcisms in 7 days. It's just, come on. My point is, I know for a fact Los Angeles possessed. Okay, Los Angeles is now the city of fallen angels. The reality is, every time Hollywood produces something powerful, they cancel it. Look at what they did with 30 Coins. Look at what they did with American Gods. Look what they did with Sense8. They deserve their organic storylines to be told to their creative ending. Oh, the numbers weren't there. Yes, says who? Says you? Says people who apparently really want the worst for us as a country? Because the reality is, call out the unjust, call out the unholy, call out the devil. But God Almighty, don't start blending every person of a certain status and tell them that they are allowed to be the villains that they're not yet. There's still time, brother. There's still time.
Okay, thank you. So were you actually in like the armed forces?
That's classified. I'm not allowed to right now at this time disclose my classified past. What I can tell you is that everything that I am committed to the cause for is based on personal experience, is based on torture, is based on unfortunate situations that I am not allowed to currently speak about. But what I can say is that I'm on the right side of history and I want others to follow. I'm not here to just be a leader. I'm here to be a man of action. You know what a leader is? A leader is a man who talks. I don't want to be a leader. I am a leader, but that's not what I want to be. I want to be the man of action. I want to be able to do what is necessary to save this country from everything that is tearing it apart, foreign and domestic. Because at the end of the day, that's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with something that is unprecedented. And that's why I want to discuss with you about some of the threats that America is facing. May I?
Yeah, proceed.
So listen, a lot of you probably know about the Jeffrey Epsteins of the world, and you probably know about how the sex trafficking and the human trafficking, heaven forbid. Listen, Tim Ballard said it best: God's children are not for sale. The assassination campaign they did on Tim Ballard was disgusting. And I truly feel sorry for that man, for having to deal with all that after everything that he's put foot to ass for this country. So, you know, the grift is on the grifting of those who discredit. And the thing is, you may know about Sound of Freedom, you may know about Jeffrey Epstein, you may know about P. Diddy, but there's something that most of you don't know about still. And it's a threat that exists, and it's a threat that's active. They were caught in 1988 in Tallahassee, Florida. And, well, there was an actual investigation, and they revoked the investigation from the local authorities, and it became like an internal CIA affair. There are over 300 documents by the FBI on it. Special Agent Ted Gunderson brought to light these people. We're talking about the Finders organization. The Finders cult is one of the worst satanic sex trafficking cults I've ever seen, and specifically child sex trafficking and human trafficking. And they were run by a man named Marion David Petty, who apparently, allegedly, died in October of 2003. Now, I can just tell you that their operation is still going on. The Finders exist. The Finders are dangerous. They are among the population. You may not recognize them, but, you were touching upon some of the things the Finders are very into, which is, the New Age stuff. You know how you were calling out, like, there's New Age crap? Well, it's funny. There are some authentic New Age people. Absolutely love the New Age movement in terms of, like, the crystals, the smart people, okay? The smart people, the anti-EMF stuff, the people who are just understanding a higher level of consciousness, the DMT people. But there are those who are satanically using this New Age to use for their unfortunate, terrible situation. Their agendas are horrible. And let's not forget the adrenochrome trade is real. And again, this needs to stop. Listen, sex traffickers, there's a bullet to that.
Yeah, and use more code words, because
True.
Yeah, you said probably every word that I get this video flagged.
I'm so sorry. And isn't that interesting? We should not live in a time where being honest about the truth and how dark it is should ever get flagged. James, we shouldn't have to live in such trepidation and fear. We should be honest people. And that's what we are. That's why we're here. We're here because we are here to be honest with the community. So yeah, I'll start using code words. That's fine. No worries. I got you. I'm just letting you know. If people want to know how to keep it 100, follow Odin, follow Christ, follow Buddha, follow Krishna, follow the Vedic scriptures, follow the old gods. Stop giving the new gods the power. Stop going into the tech. Start going into actual, authentic, real life stuff, man. Start going into the soul. We can all be liberated by Christ. I became a Roman Catholic, because they believe in exorcism. But you know who else believes in Catholicism? Those who actually make sure that when they put their lives on the line, they get shit done. And unfortunately, some people are really, really sick in this world. And, I just want to say on a personal level, I really am impressed with Netflix that they released last year the Octopus Murders, American Conspiracy, because the Danny Casolaro story is one of the most quintessential stories on the entire Western, Eastern, Northern, Southern Hemisphere America has ever suffered the tragedy of. You cannot tell me that he committed suicide. 12 slashes to the wrist, but both wrists, 8 on the left, 4 on the right, slashing the tendons. You can't tell me this guy killed himself. Not after what he was investigating. Danny Casolaro did not kill himself. And the reality is the things that are touched upon, the darkness of the world, it's terrible. But that's why we need people like James, and we need people like me who can tell the stories now. Because the reality is, what if we don't have to live in censorship? What if we don't have to live anymore in fear that we are going to lose everything because we tell the truth? Speaking the truth now is an act of defiance in the face of evil. It has happened again, just like the story of Elijah in 2 Kings in the Bible. Okay, that man risked everything, risked his life, proving the existence of God. Wow. How many of y'all know the story of Elijah? In fact, why don't you talk about Elijah? You talk about Jesus, talk about Moses, talk about Genesis. Where's Elijah? What about those stories? There's so many stories in the Bible. Come on, there's like 1,500 pages, people. How many? You can only reference 145 pages, max. But you know who does know about them? Preachers, pastors, fathers, those in the church. They preach. They know the Bible like the back of their hand. They practically study the Bible more than you and I study our taxes. You know what I mean? So the reality is I have just started writing my first sermon, my man. I just started writing a sermon. I'm 5 pages in. It's called, it's about what I just said, speaking the truth is an act of defiance in the face of evil. And the reality is, I believe that if we're going to survive this entirely precarious time, then we're going to survive because of our willpower, because we love each other, because we have the will to tell the truth and be okay. Because no one can take away our happiness if we understand our own peace. Happiness does not come from materialistic and outside source. It comes from self-awareness. Know thyself. Be thyself. Embody who you are. If I tell you that I am the spirit profiler, no one can tell me I'm not. Because what does it mean to me? It means what it means to me. I made my own peace with who I am. For me, the spirit profiler, what it means, I call myself the spirit profiler because the spirit profiler is a channeler who can channel to honestly figure out the people who have suffered and bring peace and closure to their suffering. And the reality is, look at where we're at now. We're suffering on 3 different fronts. We got, the world is on fire, man. You got Israel-Iran conflict. You've got the Israel-Palestine war. Free Palestine, people. Free Palestine. God bless Brother Ali. Brother Ali, Immortal Technique, Rugged Man, RA. Seriously, God bless these ancient ones. They're the chosen ones, man. People like them, people like Ludacris, Ice Cube, these people, they know what they're talking about. And they're not stupid. And they're not sheep. And Snoop Dogg is not a sheep either. He's really smart. Listen, anyone who smokes weed, you need to understand you are a very smart person. Don't ever let these people cancel you for smoking weed. Swear to God. I didn't even expect to talk about that. But the funny thing is, it occurred to me when I was high on Delta 9 that there's not enough faith-based material out there. So what I'm doing with the Gloverzone streaming service, I'm putting together a show where I take 3 sermons every single episode from around the world, starting with Renewed Church LA. Shout out to Renewed Church LA. Y'all are some incredible people. Y'all gave me this Bible. And I do not forget that every single day that we have faith, we are stronger with the Lord. It's funny. Israel is the strongest army right now out there. Look, they're picking fights with all the big people. And they're terrorizing. They're doing horrible. The reality is they're proving the best point in the worst way, in the wrong time, in the wrong ideology. Right now, I would be ashamed to support Israel. And I say that as somebody who, my father was Jewish. I do understand that the Holocaust is the worst, horrible thing to happen. And never again, I agree. But Jesus God, y'all, you do not do what you're doing to innocent children and women. You do not genocide people just because you can, just because that's how you do. Listen, there's a reason why people's responses in war are not what you would expect if you were to, let's say, do what is happening right now. Okay? How many horrible things have we seen over the last 3 years, dude? We've seen horrible horrors happen. Everyone is focused, transfixed by them. At the end of the day, it could be a lot worse. I hate to say it, okay? Because things are getting worse. Do you want to talk about real clandestine issues that the deep state truly, truly are responsible for? I'll tell you something. The Islamic State, yo, those are some scary motherfuckers. Let us not pretend that the Islamic State have fallen. Okay, I get a jihadi threat monitor, and I'm telling you right now, this little Iran war here, bro, Iran is talking about activating hundreds of suicide bombers in Iraq. They're talking about activating evil forces. Bro, let me just tell you, they killed 200 Christians in Africa like a week ago. These African terrorists. Right now, what the fuck is going on? You know, hey, do you remember like 10 years ago, 12 years ago, 15 years ago, we were talking about the fucking LRA. You remember the LRA, Lord's Resistance Army, led by Joseph fucking Kony, right? Well, you know, when was the last time you heard of Joseph Kony? Gee, that just conveniently slipped back in the back of everyone's mind. You know, now it's the Islamic State. Now it's, you know, all of this. There's an immeasurable war on Catholics and Christians all throughout Africa. No one talks about that. No one talks about the truth. No one wants to hear the ugliness, but the truth is the ugliness is the reason why we're in this mess. And so what I'm trying to say here is that at the end of the day, the only thing that's going to save us right now is awareness, consciousness. My studio, Gloverzone Darkness and Light Pictures, we've been at this for 14 years. October 8th, 2011. That's how long Gloverzone has been alive. Since I was a sophomore in high school. I'm going to tell you something. It's powerful. It's powerful what we got. We got in November, we are telling a story about MK Ultra. And we all know MK Ultra right now is the most relevant subject because it's not being talked about, but it's happening right now, bro. It's happening right in front of us. It's happening down the block. It's happening when you go to your store. It's happening because people right now have found this as an opportune time to be completely unhinged. And it's like the end times is coming, apparently, according to so many. But I don't believe that. I believe we could stop the end times and we could just be going through a really bad phase. You know what I mean? We could be doing that, going through that terrible phase. But as long as we stick together and as long as we actually fight the powers that be, we fight properly. We don't fight in a way that makes them totally need to suppress us. Let us fight back properly. I'm talking about making sure.
Hold on, Ian. Ian, hold on. So the question was counter-terrorism initiatives, and then I saw you talk about the Bible, and then I'm having trouble concentrating. What exactly are these counter-terrorism initiatives?
The counter-terrorism initiatives right now that I'm talking about is being proactive in the community, making television and movies right now that make a difference. Because you know what they can't stop? They can't stop filmmaking. Filmmaking right now is the most important medium. So we need to tell stories that are talking about what's happening. We need to get the right actors on board. We need to make sure that Hollywood is back on track because right now everyone is talking about how terrible Hollywood is, how satanic it is. And you're right. I'm seeing some of the worst content ever made, you know, make it out onto streaming services and theaters and stuff. And the reality is with no signs of slowing down. So we need
that's because essentially There are these certain bankroll programs.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a member of the elites, the certain
Yeah.
cabal of bankers, you can put money into these bankrolls and quickly turn 300% interest. So when they want to make a new movie, they get a movie script, they edit it, and they run it through the bankroll. So the movie's already paid for, and therefore the ticket sales don't even matter. So essentially, it's
Precisely.
because of these secret programs, the way the money system is the reason why that's not going to be changing anytime soon until at least Nassara comes and changes that.
Well, that's why the Gloverzone wants to bring, as a counter-terrorism initiative, I'm incepting an organization right now called the Bureau of Corrections. Our goal is foundation, intelligence, and justice, and our mission statement is to right today's wrongs tomorrow. The FBI is fractured. The CIA is fractured. The police on the ground is fractured. We do not trust our institutions. We have a right not to. Frankly, it's terrible what we've seen. However, there can be the solution. One singular organization, the Bureau of Corrections. That is what I'm here on this earth to do.
And how is that going to be different than any of the conventional institutionals?
Because we would have the authority to go into places that the regular police cannot. We can take over entire investigations. The idea here is that, look, if you take the behavioral analysis unit out of Quantico, Virginia, and you apply their tactics to regular law enforcement, you would have such an efficient, different, entire outcome. There are over 700 serial killers in America right now. No one is doing shit about them. The BAU needs to be repaired. And if the BAU can't be repaired, then we need an organization that operates like the BAU, but operates like the military, but operates like the CIA, operates as the FBI, with the superseding authority to do all that, all in the name of righteousness, with top secret security clearance, TSSCI. We need to vet every person and make sure that everyone who is on board are here to literally change the problems of the entire time that humanity has had problems and bring something new. I'm talking about heists that have never been done before. I'm talking about, well, actually, tell you what, instead of telling you about it, when we finance the correction scandal, Shift in the Tides of Power, which is the sequel to the I Ching lawyer pilot, Creative Heaven on the Rocks, which is being shot in November. If we get the financing, we'll be shooting in November. So, prayers on that, guys. Honestly, we got a long way to go, but it's got to happen. A cinematic television event. That's another way we can change the industry. So my projects are here to change lives. They are here to expand awareness and consciousness in Hollywood about what's going on in the super soldier community, in the milab community, in the alien community, because yes, disclosure is real. Aliens are real. The Spirit Profiler is going to go into aliens. The Spirit Profiler 777 is the sequel to the correction scandal. And then we've got one more show called The World of Alex Foster. It's a comedy. Pilot's called Golden Ghost. I've yet to write that. But the point is, we're having 4 interconnected shows bring what you're talking about, James, to life. And I recommend everyone tune into these shows. They will be done with the highest A-listers. They will be done and spearheaded by the greatest minds in the industry. And I will write and direct all of them. And I even have an acting role as Supervisory Special Agent Raxus Stone, the Spirit Profiler, in all of them. So, and we're talking about 10 seasons minus I Ching Lawyer, which is 6 seasons, because it actually talks about, like what is the I Ching, for instance? The I Ching is the Book of Changes. Have you ever heard of the Book of Changes? Have you ever heard of the I Ching?
Yes, I don't know much of what it predicts the future.
Not necessarily. It's a consulting oracle that Confucius used to use. Essentially, anti-communist China, 10,000 years ago. So 64 hexagrams. So there's 64 episodes, 1 hexagram per episode. And we're going to bring awareness. We're going to try to shoot in the Himalayas. We're going to try to do this for real. We've got some good A-list people on board right now and some people that we're working to secure. So, but the point is, we have an opportunity in this country to not take what we've been told as, what's going to happen and what our life has to be. We don't have to listen to nobody. All we have to do is manifest. I'm talking about being the change you want to see in the world. Let Gandhi's words speak more true now than ever before. You know what I mean?
I think we should try to incorporate some kind of chronovisor technology into your new department of Bureau of Corrections.
That would be fantastic. I would welcome anything and everything that would enhance the national security of this country. The Bureau of Corrections is America's last line and first line of defense. And it has to be. Because at the end of the day, you can't rely on any of these places. If I thought for a second that this was just some big fantasy, I wouldn't even begin to try. But the corrections scandal is a pilot, a 5-act pilot in which we show as a proof of concept what the Bureau of Corrections is. It's an actual TV show, 10 seasons, based on this organization that I'm creating. Just like Walter O'Brien did with Scorpion. Scorpion was based on his life. Walter O'Brien's a genius. And he decided to create a television show based on his life for 4 seasons. It should have been renewed. I'm going to try to renew it for season 5 because that does not deserve to get canceled. If he was able to make Scorpion Computer Services and be the amazing genius that he is, then we can make surely an example of proof of concept about the Bureau of Corrections can and will be. It's necessary. And my past as a filmmaker and my present as a filmmaker has only helped me determine that one of the ideas here that I want to use this studio for, I want to use Gloverzone to essentially do an interesting little heist to the Bureau of Corrections. And I'm curious what you think about this, James. Imagine how effective Gloverzone can be. We can make productions, high profile productions, and we can keep our eyes on those who we deem a threat to national security. We can get to places close that other people can't because we're in the movie business and the TV business. And we can blend national security and the entertainment industry and make it quite literally one of the greatest defenses that has ever been seen on U.S. soil.
Thank you. Right. So we'll just look into incorporating chronovisor tech, and I think you got yourself a solid agency there.
Amen.
Thank you. Okay, so now let's go to the next question. For those that feel powerless in the face of this global corruption that we're being subjected to, what steps can individuals take today to align with your mission of real change? What can we do?
One more time. I'm sorry, I was a little distracted.
Yeah, what can we do to make change? Because I hear about what you can do, but what can we do?
Well, that's a good question, right? What can we do as people who are just regular, right? Keeping your mind free, keeping your mind open, ready for the people, ready for those like you and me, for instance. The more that we are welcomed by a community that has a greater understanding, it really all starts with the freedom to understand. Without this fundamental concept of just simply understanding what the truth is and how long we've managed to just keep ourselves under a shell for so long, there is strength in numbers. There is strength in consciousness. There are things that people cannot do to others like you and me. And what I mean by you and me, I don't mean you and me, James. I mean like people who are struggling. I'm struggling too. So as someone who is struggling, I can tell you that we may struggle alone, but together, we really might be able to keep something immortal. Because the reality is, change is coming. You don't have to worry for so much longer. You can be part of the change by simply supporting. Spread this video. Spread James's videos. Go to these conferences. Go listen to the people who know what's up. Don't give up. Never back down. Never give up faith. Know that the worst tribulations are the biggest tests. And so all we have to do is survive the trial. All we have to do is survive a little fucking longer and we will be okay. Because we're not okay now, but that doesn't mean we won't be. We are in this fight together. I'm with you. You may contact me. I will discuss with you. I will talk to you. I will be personal with you. Because the reality is, what's the point, people? What is the whole point of any of this if we don't make ourselves accessible to the very community that we wish to be accepted by? There isn't. Which is why I'm going to be the most accessible person in this community by choice. Am I going to be a public figure? Yes. Have I been a public figure in growing? Yeah. For 14 years, I've been growing to be a public figure. But the reality is, I want to be that public figure that is the voice of the people. I believe it is more essential to communicate. It is more essential to relay your issues and relay the realities. I want to hear your problems. I want to know, because the reality is I know what I fight for, and I fight for you, the people. I may not be president of the United States, but maybe I deserve to be one day. But I would not even dare venture into politics, not in this toxic climate. I want to do this for real. I want to launch a real Operation Restore Nation. Restore the nation. We don't have to have a single time where we're questioning what the next step is, what any steps are. Should we surrender? A super soldier never surrenders. A super soldier doesn't look at the odds and goes, well, gee, maybe I should conserve ammunition. Listen, you want to conserve ammunition? Here's an idea. Kill the enemy with the remaining bullets you got. Go to that enemy that has the big gun that you just killed that has like 85 rounds, pick it up, and start shooting people. It's simple, folks.
Well, it's not that simple, Ian.
I know. I'm just saying that
DNA encoded.
No, of course. Well, with those issues, that's a whole separate fact. I'm just talking about in traditional modern warfare. My point is, don't be discouraged by the odds. There is always a workaround. So just like if people are financially struggling right now, if people are losing their homes, having a difficult time, don't worry. We're all there, but we're going to make it through. All you got to look, you wake up 12 hours a day. You got to sleep 12 hours. You open your eyes, you're still alive. That is what matters. If you're not dead, they haven't taken you. Period.
Okay.
I hope that answers your question.
Questions from the chat. Let's see here. We got let's start with Francine says, we must unite and be part of the change. Thank you all. Art says, why can't he declassify his military origins?
Because right now I'm in a situation, and revealing that right now would put me in danger for the people I'm dealing with. And so I respect where you're coming from. And one day, maybe in 6 months, maybe in 8 months, I will be able to have that type of levity where I can freely disclose my past. But at this time, this would put my life at risk, and I cannot take any unnecessary measures, because right now I have to make sure that I lead the charge. And I can only lead the charge by being alive, my brother. I cannot be a martyr for this cause. I have to be the front of the cause. And I want others to walk with me on this path. As I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil.
Are acute angels.
I guess they're trying to say angels.
Angels, the fallen ones.
Acute angels. That's a you mind trying to emphasize what acute you mean? Because acute is a very specific phrase. I mean, the fallen ones are the fallen ones, and frankly, acute angels, from what I understand, if I understand the concept even just by the word acute, I'd say that there are angels that are neither dark nor light. I think that there are angels that serve both causes, but they are not fallen angels. Fallen angels are those who have chosen a side deliberately. They have suffered, they've been humiliated, and they have chosen out of spite, and they have chosen out of something very, very relentless. And they are the fallen. And then they choose to be horrible. But acute angels, from what I'm hearing, I simply think that they serve both sides, and they can serve your side or they can choose not to.
Okay, thank you. So, Ian, how can people contact you?
People can contact me by my number. My phone number is 310-736-7905. You can also donate to the cause. I'll put my James, you can put my Zelle link.
Can you say what it is again?
Sure. Absolutely. So my Zelle phone number is 925-914-1926.
Wait, hold on a second.
Sorry.
I can type very fast, but go ahead.
Yeah. Phone number is 925-914-1926. Under the name Ian C. Glover. It's look, right now I can only accept donations, and I know that every person who contributes to me, the money is not in vain, and I will be using survival is one thing, but really investing in this operation. I need to invest in this operation, and I cannot do it without you. I've been trying to do it for as long as I possibly can on my own, but now I need your help. Everybody walking this land, I need your help. Because if we don't do this, there'll be nothing left to save. I can be the change that you need me to be as America.
Okay, here's another question.
Sure.
Can you comment on nature, spirits, and elementals?
Yes.
How can connecting with nature and earth help super soldiers?
Oh, that's very easy to answer, and I'll just tell you right away. Whew. Nature and the earth are two of the most grounding elements for super soldiers, because the reality is the actual elemental environments, the nature is so important. Deforestation has to stop. The Amazon rainforest should be preserved. They're the lungs of the earth. And the reality is, if you go to a forest, if you go to a park, if you go to anywhere in nature, if you go to the ocean, you notice that time stretches out in both of those places. You go in society, you're going to lose 6 hours like that. But when you're in nature, time stops. There is no such thing as time. We can break the illusion of the matrix just because of this. So the more that you tune in to the natural elements and the old gods, every time it's spring, give praise to Ostera. Every time it's Wednesday, give praise to Odin. My nickname is Mr. Wednesday. The reason I'm Mr. Wednesday is a little complicated. I'll just briefly go into it. I watched American Gods, and American Gods was a very, very powerful show, and it started Ian McShane as Mr. Wednesday, Odin. Now, when American Gods got canceled, I realized, first of all, my name is Ian C. Glover, and his name is Ian McShane. And, well, I love Odin, and, well, obviously, Mr. Wednesday is Odin. And then the incredible thing happened where I realized I was born Wednesday, March 22nd, 1995 at 11:15 a.m., 22 seconds in, 36 milliseconds in room 322. My nurse's name was Davina, and I was born to the sound of Om. So I am Mr. Wednesday, literally. So every single time that I say I'm Mr. Wednesday, I'm giving praise to the god Odin, and at the same time, I'm becoming powerful. So every time that you give praise to the old gods do not die, because only old gods die when they're forgotten. So elemental and supernatural is the most quintessential combination you could possibly have in this world. You need to break the MK Ultra.
Where and when were you a super soldier?
Again, classified. Cannot disclose that at this time. You'll get all of that one day. You know what? I'll tell you who knows. You want to know who knows about me? The ACIO. I'm in the ACIO database. And I had to re-examine some of my files with the ACIO many years ago. And that's when I realized, when I got back in touch with my handler, that I had to be very, very careful about what I say and when. But nonetheless, I mean, tell them about the ACIO. You know about them.
Yeah, well,
And you know the man who disclosed, of course, all the information to me, naturally.
I knew AR Borden. I think he faked his death, and then
he totally faked his death. But I'm talking about Pete.
Yeah, Peter the Insider.
That was the person who helped make. He's the person who helped me access my files.
Right, and he helped me and many other people as well. And he is on a different channel now. So
fantastic.
Yeah. Okay. If old gods,
I saw that just now. I don't know, man. That's a good question, but the point is, ancient wisdom is ancient wisdom. The source of ancient wisdom comes not from the new gods of tech and the new gods of war, but the gods of wisdom and poetry, nature. You need to just keep alive that which is pure, the sacred kingdom. That is the most important.
Okay, for those of you who don't know, if old gods die when they are forgotten, how does that make them a god and not a parasite? They feed off your energy. I don't think I don't think all old gods would feed off your energy.
They don't. That's not how it works.
Relationship. Thank you. Cool. Let's go to the next question. Do any of the previous super soldiers retain any psi abilities?
Well, they do, and I certainly do. And I'm a bit clairvoyant, obviously a channeler, and the majority of super soldiers are totally able to access what they need to, their skills, etc., no matter what time they are in their life. The only thing that matters is that they don't die.
Do you think you could channel James Casbolt?
I could, but not at this exact moment.
Juncture in time. Okay.
You know, funny enough, it is a two-way connection. Just because I want to does not mean he wants to enter my body and on a very first interview go into that. You know, I don't think he'd be comfortable.
Do you have any farewell messages for the end of the show?
I do, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
I encourage every single one of you to fight, to stay alive, to stay connected. The future is bright with the light. It all matters what we do. What we do in this lifetime echoes in eternity. So honestly, all I want you to realize is that as we close this out, and it's been a terrific interview, and I'm really grateful, James, for the opportunity to speak here. And I say this for all the super soldiers and for all of the people in the intelligence community. Thank you for your service. Do not ever feel like you're forgotten. Please reach out to me. I'm here for you. And honestly, let's make a country and a world that we can all agree with. Let's stop the bullshit. Let's make ourselves the leaders that we want to see. Let's make it a life for children to be okay. Let's actually fight the right war this time. Let's not get confused. Don't get confused. In fact, what you see, don't trust what you see. What you hear, don't trust it. But what I can tell you, trust yourself. Trust your instinct. Trust your foresight. Trust your heart. Because that, and trust in God. Give yourself to Jesus if you want. It matters.
Do you foresee our latent super soldier abilities coming back online, activating?
I believe that they're already activated right now. And I think that the reason why they're coming up right now is because it is time. It is time to break free. It's time to be the new society. I've got things on my channel on Gloverzone DL Pictures YouTube. I've got poems like Oh God. I've got poems like Activation of the Quest from Battle, which is to Palestine. I have written so much. I'm a writer. I'm an intense writer. And I'm writing many things right now. And I just promise you that I'm being activated like crazy. I'm being told to use my voice and my words as a medium, as a channeler, as a writer, to bring to life stories that need to be told about this war. The I Ching lawyer, the correction scandal, the spirit profiler, the world of Alex Foster. These are the four that will unite this country. In November, we begin. But let's start beforehand. Let's gather. Let's grassroots fund it together. People, if you want to get involved, let me just tell you, get involved. Gloverzone.com. Buy For My Turtle, which is a documentary that was banned on YouTube, which is being sold for $10 on my website. Every dime that you give me for supporting my work, it will absolutely go to the cause and nothing less than the cause.
A lot of us are getting more activated. Unity, consciousness, new leaders. Thanks, guys. Keep up the good work. All right. Is that your final comment?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Very good. So thank you, Ian. Thank you, listeners. Everybody go to supersoldiercon.com. Purchase a ticket. We have we need some vendors. We need I think we're probably full of our volunteer list. But if you really, really want to volunteer, message me. I'll see what we can do. Also, everybody go to healingsoulsurvivors.org and you can make a donation to my nonprofit. The 501c3 is sponsoring Super Soldier Activation Conference, and we're all going to have a great time this October 8th to 12th in Orlando, Florida. Okay, so what I will do, I'm going to go play we're going to skip the Lifewave today, and we're going to just go into this music video that I made. So I hope you enjoy it, and it's called Where Are They Now? And we're going to be, it's a music video about super soldiers. Okay, all right, enough of me. Let's just go ahead and play it. We'll see you all later. Bye, Ian.
Bye.
See you all.
Surface world really don't have a clue what they always endure. They fight for me and you, genetically modified for a 20 and back. They are continually taken for non-linear task. They are the super soldiers. service to humanity, service for love. Always win, always win. Everywhere they've been, always win. Altered genetics, technologically advanced. Their training is endless, courage second to none. Where are they tonight? Out to make things right. Always bring us the light, visible light. They will face the dark force, never leave a chance. No one knows where they've been, but they always win. Always win. Their grasp brings light to the universe. Their reach is everywhere. Superhuman light force, never time to spare. Super soldier, they're out there tonight. Where are you tonight? Fighting for balance, fighting for peace. They know what the stakes are. Dark forces never cease.